Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 Today.
Good morning. Welcome to NBC 16 Today. I'm Lily Taylor. We'll get to our top stories in just a moment, but first we're going to check in with weather with Brianna Chavez. Good morning, Brianna.
Throughout the early morning hours, we really aren't seeing much activity. In fact, keeping it rather clear compared to where we were yesterday with quite the reduced visibility at portions Eugene and even Douglas County sitting at a quarter of a mile of visibility. So definitely going to continue to see a little bit more of that change both in the cloud coverage and those temperatures continuing to hang on tight to that warming trend. We managed to clear out the cloud coverage just enough to where those warmer temperatures settle into the area. Then when we push the cloud coverage back into the forecast, that's where we see the 10 to 11, if not 5 degrees warmer across the Willamette and Umpqua valleys, consistently hanging on tight to those 50s for the region. But nonetheless, we'll see the wet weather make a return coming up.
All right, thank you, Bree. We now take you to our live shot buddy who's showing us a look at traffic this morning. He's currently at Albany, where this morning they're celebrating a 56-year tradition, the Albany Veterans Day Parade. So that's set to start at 11:11. As for traffic right now, obviously those streets look a little bit empty, but good news is on other streets and freeways, there's no traffic delays or crashes to slow you down this morning. So you should have a relatively nice morning commute. If you want to go out to that parade, you might want to grab your spot early. I can already see some chairs lining up along the roadways there. So should be a fun time. Thank you, LSB, for the check-in. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Moving now to the longest government shutdown in American history. It appears to be coming to an end after the Senate passed a deal to fund the government through January 30th. Now it moves to the House with a vote expected as soon as tomorrow. The agreement revises President Trump's attempted layoffs of federal workers during the shutdown and fully funds food assistance, but does not extend expiring Obamacare subsidies in a major concession from Democrats. NBC's Alice Barr has details on what's next in Washington.
In a major step toward reopening the government, the Senate overnight giving its final approval to a bill that funds the government through the end of January.
The bill as amended is passed.
It now heads to the House, where members in recess since late September are racing back to Washington.
I got a built consensus among the members, and that is what we will do.
House Republicans can only afford to lose 2 votes, with Democrats opposed.
We're going to fight hard to defeat it.
The party divided over the move by 8 Senate Democrats who broke ranks to vote with Republicans to end the shutdown, despite no promises on the central sticking point, extending Affordable Care Act subsidies.
I think it was a terrible, terrible vote at a time when we have a broken healthcare system.
Senate leadership did agree to a vote before the subsidies expire at the end of the year, sending healthcare costs soaring.
We crystallized the fight about healthcare for the American people and made it clear who's holding that up. It's President Donald Trump, it's Speaker Johnson, and it's the Republicans.
Others arguing Democrats were winning the messaging fight on healthcare and affordability.
You saw that the polling was going our way, and we could have, in my opinion, continued talking about that and potentially had a better outcome.
Republicans saying they want a healthcare fix too. President Trump again floating sending Americans direct payments paid for through tariff revenue.
We want a healthcare system where we pay the money to the people instead of the insurance companies.
Administration officials have couched that idea as informal brainstorming. President Trump said he would abide by the terms of the funding deal, including guaranteeing back pay for federal workers and rehiring those who were laid off during the shutdown, as well as fully funding urgently needed SNAP low-income food assistance through next fall, though there will be a lag in getting the system back on track. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Right after the bill passed the Senate Monday night, we got reaction from Congresswoman Val Hoyle, who will be heading back to Capitol Hill to vote on this funding measure.
Here's the thing. There's a number of Democratic senators that decided that they wanted to open the government. Yes, that's important. And what we were holding up for was to get an extension on the healthcare subsidies so that we can work to make sure that people can afford access to healthcare. I'll be going to D.C. tomorrow. I will be a no.
Both Senators Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley voted against the bill. The House of Representatives will now have to pass the bill before President Trump can sign it into law. The pending end to the shutdown isn't solving the uncertainty around food stamps. Right now, the Trump administration is telling states like Oregon to reverse the SNAP payments they sent out last week. But the state is telling people to spend their SNAP benefits as normal. Essentially, the state says there's no way to reverse the aid once it's been sent to people's EBT cards. Federal judges ordered the federal government to send out SNAP benefits by Friday. A handful of states then sent out the benefits out to residents. That includes Oregon. However, there have been a number of appeals and legal decisions that continue to put SNAP benefits in question for millions of people. Governor Kotek called the Trump administration's demand to undo aid both, quote, immoral and ridiculous. The president argues the courts don't have the authority to make spending decisions like this. Now, it's worth noting the Trump administration admitted in court filings there really is no way to reverse benefits. Instead, they're threatening to penalize states that paid them out. However, the president's order to undo the aid is also being fought in court, including by Oregon's Attorney General. A spokesperson for the state agency that handles SNAP says the agency cannot speculate on what may or may not happen in court. But the agency is also encouraging people to spend their aid as they normally would. A candlelight vigil held in Cottage Grove yesterday for the members of their community that were detained by ICE last week. That's video that went viral on social media of the event. We spoke to a member that went to that gathering last night. Take a listen.
That's really scary. That's scary. And they didn't want me to panic. How did they not expect me to panic after they did all they did? So I think it's very scary. Now I'm sure that the pain is gonna go. Like, I'm still getting better, but it's gonna go. But the chaos, like the trauma.
A mother and daughter sharing their story with us after the mother says she was stopped by officials and forced from her vehicle while she was left at the side of the road. The video of her experience has been shared through social media. Now, this comes as the City of Eugene's independent police auditor has determined that Eugene police had no involvement with ICE activity on November 5th. The auditor says the complaints claimed that Eugene police officers were involved with ICE detentions last Wednesday. The auditor says its investigation included multiple interviews, tracking Eugene police vehicles and reviewing dispatch records. They found there were no police vehicles at the location of the alleged ICE arrests and no calls or service at that location. Photos and videos from the incident reportedly did not show any Eugene police present. There was also no evidence found that laws were broken according to the auditor. If new evidence is presented, the investigation can reopen. And the city of Newport says it has become aware of information indicating the Department of Homeland Security is evaluating locations along the Oregon coast for a potential customs and immigration enforcement facility. Among the possible locations, the Newport Municipal Airport. In a statement, city officials said they are working actively with local, state, and federal legislators to verify the information. However, they say they feel the information is credible enough and sensitive enough to share with the public. Newport Mayor Jan Kaplan says he's deeply concerned about the reports. Senator Ron Wyden says he will help city and state leaders work to get answers. He sent us a statement saying, in part, any unilateral decision made 3,000 miles away from Newport about using any part of the coastal community for an ICE detention facility would be both alarming and asinine. Today is Veterans Day. We want to say thank you to all the men and women who have served our country. We recognize you today and every day. And as Veterans Day is a federal holiday, here are some closures to watch out for today. The U.S. Postal Service will not deliver mail. Many banks and courts are closed, as well as non-essential government offices. Some public and private schools will also observe the holiday, so check your local listings. And if you are a veteran, some businesses are offering veterans discounts and freebies, including Applebee's, Krispy Kreme, Starbucks, and Red Lobster. You'll just need to show your ID card.